Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Heather, and here I like to help you get crafty and creative and help you get your memories documented. Here is a sneak peek of the layout that I'm going to be creating today. I'm going to show you how to do all of this fun stuff, all of these bright colors. So I am going to be starting with some really great watercolor paper. It's 100% cotton and it is cold press and it is 12 by 12. The first thing that I did was put washi tape around it because at first I thought that I wanted a white edge, a white border kind of around it, but in the end it's going to not really matter if I had the washi tape on it or not. And so right now I am using some just clean fresh water. I have a jar with some water that my paint goes in and then one with clean water, and I think that that's important through learning different techniques with watercoloring. I feel like that's like super important to make sure your brush is clean before you are going into the next color. So the color palette for this layout is going to be a couple different pinks, purples, and blues. Those are my favorite colors, and they're going to go really well with the photos that I'm going to be documenting today. So if you are new here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Also, I would love if you would give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. Both of those things really help me grow my YouTube channel, and I so appreciate all of your support. So all I'm doing here is I'm using a round brush, a round paintbrush, and I am just going in with the watercolors, and this is actually a different color pink. I mixed a lighter pink, so I'm going to be going back and forth from the brighter, darker pink to the lighter pink. I just wanted some variation, and you'll see me add water, clean water, and then go in and kind of, it's almost like I'm just dabbing it, like very gently, but it's like you have to make sure that you have the right ratio of water to paint. And I am new to these watercolors. This palette was empty and I put the water, there were two watercolors and I put them in the palette. I got the palette from Amazon and I got the watercolors from Jerry's Artorama. And I am absolutely loving these paints. They're super vibrant. They're just so pretty. The mixing capability is just awesome. And I'm just in love with them. So at first when I started playing with this, I honestly had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what I was going to do with it. I mean, I didn't have pictures in mind. I honestly didn't really know if I was like what I was going to do with it. I was going off of a piece of paper off to my left hand side. It's like a rainbow paper, but I was just pulling in the blues, the pinks, and the purples because those are my favorite colors. And I really like the way they look together because if you do pink and blue, obviously it creates purple. And so I'm not going to get like mud from these colors. And so, yeah, so now I just mixed this bluish purple. And it wasn't quite the color that I was hoping for, but you'll see here in a minute that I'm just going to keep going back and forth, adding water, adding color, and you'll see it all just kind of start to blend together really pretty. And you can see that I've done this in multiple steps. I would let it dry a little bit and then I would go back to it. And then I would just add some more water, and now I'm doing a lighter blue, which I also created. I just used blue and white to make it a little bit lighter. And so I'm mixing off to the left hand or to the right hand side. So yeah, I'm just so in love with this. In the end, you're not going to see really the center of the layout because that's where my photos end up going. But I just love the way that this turned out. I did fast forward through most of this and I cut a lot of it out. It did take quite a bit of time. However, it was just so much fun. I love to just sit down and play with my products and just create something all on my own. I think using pattern paper is awesome and I love pattern paper. However, sometimes I really just like to make my own backgrounds with stamps, watercolors, inks. There's so many different ways that you can create scrapbooking backgrounds. And so I really had a great time creating this background with my watercolors. I think the watercolor background just looks so dreamy. I don't know. It's just so pretty to me. So again, I'm just going in and adding water where I think it needs a little bit of blending. There's really no, I mean, you just have to play with your watercolors. And I've watched lots of YouTube videos, but a lot of the YouTube videos that I'm watching are not scrapbookers. They're actual like watercolor artists. And that's not really what I'm going for. I'm just going for a really pretty background and a nice watercolor wash. And I like the blooms that it creates. And again, I'm just going back and forth. Right now I'm going back in with another purple that I created. This one is more of the true purple that I was really looking for. And so I'm going to add that in a couple more places. And then I think I'm going to add a little bit more water. And then I am going to actually dry it with a heat tool. Now, I did not dry it all the way with a heat tool. I did let a good part of it air dry, but I was just trying to get some of the really big water pools dry as much as possible because I really liked the way that it looked. So yeah, so now we are back and it is all completely dry, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull off that washi tape. I did bring Emily in here for this part because she loves this. She said, oh, it's so satisfying. And that washi tape really did a tremendous job with keeping it really clean. So if you did want to do this and you wanted to keep that surface and have that nice crisp line, then you could. So off camera, I do cut it down to the square, and I wish I would have done it just a tad bit larger, but it's okay. These are the papers that I was kind of going off of, and then I decided to just go a completely different way and not use any pattern paper. So this layout has no pattern paper. It just has these two pieces of cardstock and my watercolor background that I created. So I'm going to mat the background that I created with the black cardstock because I just felt like it really made it pop off the page. I really didn't care for the way that it looked just straight onto the white cardstock, and so that's the reason why I matted it with the black cardstock. The photos that I'm going to be documenting today are from a pool day that my daughter and I had at my mom's house in the beginning of July, I believe. It was the end of June. I can't remember. I think it was the end of June. And my mom bought this float for Emily, for my daughter. It's a donut. And I really, once I got done creating this background, I was like, yeah, those are the photos that I have to document because it's perfect. The pink is the perfect pink. The blue is just, the water is super blue. Like, it just looks perfect. So now I am going in with a Vicky Bouton stencil and the Brutus Monroe velveteen glaze, sorry. And the color that I'm using is Happy Heather. And I'm using a spatula. Now, this is the first time that I've ever used this. My friend, one of my patrons and a friend, she asked me if I could get some of these for the swag bags for my upcoming retreat. And she gave me the money to get them for everybody. And so while I was ordering those, I went ahead and bought myself one just to try because I really have never seen it used before. And so my thought on it is it's more like a consistency of thick paint. It's not like a paste, but it doesn't say paste, it says glaze. So I think that it did work this way. However, there are some smears. You can see at the top where it kind of smeared under the stencil because it is thinner than a paste or like a gel. So it's not really super thick. It would be really, really great to use, like I said, as a paint, or to just kind of spread it over in layers. I think would look really pretty. But the thing that's really awesome about this is it is matte. It dries matte. So now you can see it's all dry, and I really like it. I really like the way that it looks. I was nervous about putting it on my watercolor paper and messing it up, but I'm really happy with the way that it turned out, and it just adds more of that purple, because a lot of the purple is getting covered up, and even some of the blue is going to get covered up, but there's a lot of blue in the photos, so I felt like it was okay. I don't know. So I wanted to bring in that purple. And it, like I said, it dries matte and it's flat. It's like a paint. There's no dimension to it. At least for the way that I used it, there was no dimension. And I like it. So I might be purchasing some more to try them out for other things and try them in different ways. Let me know down in the comments if y'all would like to see me do a video on the Velveteen Glaze from Brutus Monroe. I can do like a whole separate video using them in different ways and trying them out in different ways for y'all. If you would be interested in that, let me know. So now Emily is in here with me again. The title is going to be just So Happy. And I decided to bring in glitter and silver because why not? And I'm really happy with that. I like the way that it looks. I love glitter, as I feel like everybody does. Everybody that's crafty. You might not like the loose glitter because it gets all over the place, but we all love the look of glitter, right? It's just so pretty. So I was thinking about doing So Happy together and looking for, in my thickers, I was hoping for white or black, but I couldn't find any. I couldn't find any that I have that is the word together, unless it was gold. And I don't want to use silver and gold, and I didn't really think gold would look right on this layout. So I ended up just keeping the So Happy. And then in this sticker sheet from Amy Tan, Picnic in the Park, I believe, there is the black together, but it's so tiny. I just didn't feel like it would work. So I end up just don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm gonna do most of my clustering here in between the photos, and that's where the majority of my embellishing is going to go. Actually, pretty much all of my embellishing is going to go right there. Yeah, so I'm putting it up on foam because the photo that I put on top is behind, or it's on top of foam, and so I really want everything to be nice and equal, and I want everything to lay nice and flat. And yeah, so I did just get done doing layout organization for my patrons. If you have not checked out my Patreon, I would love to have you become part of my community over there. I'll have it linked down below. We have a live scrap and chat coming up this Friday, which will be the day that this video goes up. And so the layout organization series, it's a mini series for my $10 tier patrons. I had 197 layouts that needed to be put away. Y'all, it was a problem. But guess what? I got it all done, and they all have their journaling and dates and all of this stuff on them, and they're all put away, and I filmed it. I documented it. And my patrons, the first video just came out this week for my patrons, and then the next 2 videos will come out for them next week. And yeah, so if you want to be part of that, I would love to have you over there. I'll have it linked below. I will also try to link some of these products below, but I don't really know. I know Scrapbook.com does not carry Brutus Monroe products, but I'll try to link to some of the products down below, and hopefully if you have any questions or want to know where I got something, just leave me a comment and I will be sure to get back to you. So now I pulled out some sequins from my stash. These are from Buttons Galore and More. And they're like this clear kind of iridescent sequin, And I'm going to end up putting them in the center of all of the little stencil circles that I did. So right now I'm just kind of scattering them all over, and then I realize, no, let's put them in the centers. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that looks really good. I really like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them in all of the the circle holes, I guess you would call them, the center of the circles. And I just absolutely love the sparkle that it adds to the layout. And I'm going to use some liquid glue to glue those down along with my tweezers, my craft tweezers, and that's just really a nice way to do that if you're having issues gluing down sequins and holding them with your hands or your fingers. This just works so easy. Look at that. They just go down super simple. I'm not going to make you sit through all of that. But Emily said the last thing that it needs is some iridescent splatters. And so I grabbed some of my iridescent paint, and I'm just going to mix it with some water on some packaging. And I'm going to grab a small round paintbrush. I'm going to mix that water and the paint. This paint it's a fluid paint, so it was already quite watery, so it worked really well. So here are a couple other video and a playlist that I put together for y'all to watch. I hope you will check it out and enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to spread love and be kind. I hope that you all have an amazing day. Bye for now.